Hey everybody, welcome back for another deep dive.
Always exciting.
Yeah, today we're going to be talking all about exercise and diabetes.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah, it should be good. And we're going to be looking at some sources from Diabetes UK and the CDC.
Great sources.
Yeah, so we should have some good info. And yeah, we're going to be learning about how even small changes to how much you move can make a big difference when it comes to managing your diabetes. So let's jump in.
Yeah, exercise is so important for managing diabetes.
Yeah, and a lot of people think that when we say exercise, they think like I have to go to the gym for 2 hours a day, or I have to, be a marathon runner or something.
Right, like it's all or nothing.
Yeah, and it's really not like that's not what these sources are saying at all.
No, they both emphasize that even little bits of movement can really make a difference.
Yeah, and that's really encouraging to hear. That it doesn't have to be this huge lifestyle overhaul to see some benefits.
Exactly. The CDC recommends aiming for 150 minutes of moderate intensity activity per week.
Okay, so that could be something like brisk walking or.
Yeah, brisk walking, cycling, dancing, even gardening.
Oh, okay, so it doesn't even have to be like a formal workout.
Nope, just getting your heart rate up and moving your body.
And 150 minutes a week, that breaks down to like, what, 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week?
You got it.
Okay, that's manageable.
And you can even break that up into smaller chunks throughout the day.
Well, that's good to know. So like 3 10-minute walks or something.
Exactly, it all adds up.
So you don't have to find this huge block of time. You can just kind of fit it in where you can.
Exactly, and Diabetes UK makes a great point about choosing activities you enjoy.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Because if you hate running on a treadmill, you're not going to stick with it.
Right. It shouldn't feel like punishment.
Exactly. Find something that brings you joy, like dancing or swimming or hiking.
Or just like walking the dog.
Anything that gets you moving.
I like it. So we've talked about how much to exercise, but what about the fear of hypos? That's a big concern, I think, for a lot of people with diabetes, especially those who use insulin.
It's a very valid concern, but Diabetes UK offers some really helpful tips for managing this fear.
Okay, let's hear them.
So first off, they emphasize the importance of monitoring your blood sugar closely.
So before, during, and after exercise.
Exactly. You want to know where your levels are at.
That makes sense.
And they also recommend having fast-acting carbohydrates on hand.
So things like glucose tablets or juice.
Yep, just in case your blood sugar drops too low.
And what about the pace of exercise?
They recommend starting slow and gradually increasing the intensity and duration as you get more comfortable.
Yeah, don't just jump into a marathon.
Right, build up your stamina over time.
Good advice. And they also talk about the role of continuous glucose monitors or CGMs.
Oh yeah, CGMs can be a game changer.
I've heard a lot about them. Can you explain how they work?
Sure, so a CGM is a small device that you wear, usually on your arm or abdomen,
Okay.
and it continuously monitors your blood sugar levels and sends the readings to a receiver, like your phone or a dedicated monitor.
So you can see your blood sugar trends in real time. That's got to be helpful.
It takes out a lot of the guesswork, especially during physical activity.
I bet, because you can catch those lows before they become a problem.
Exactly. And Diabetes UK actually shares a story about a woman named Holly who found that using a CGM gave her the confidence to become more active because she wasn't constantly worried about hypos.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So it really helped her overcome that fear.
It did. It gave her a sense of security and freedom.
So we've talked about why exercise is important, how much you need, and how to manage the fear of hypos. But what about the benefits beyond blood sugar control?
Oh, there are so many.
Like what? Tell me everything.
Well, for starters, exercise can improve your sleep quality, boost your mood, strengthen your heart health, and even reduce your risk of developing other chronic conditions like heart disease and stroke.
Wow, that's a pretty impressive list.
It is, and here's the kicker. For people with type 2 diabetes, research suggests that regular physical activity can even lead to remission.
Wait, remission like not having diabetes anymore.
That's right. It's not a guarantee, but it's definitely possible.
That's incredible. I think that's something most people don't realize.
Yeah, it really highlights the power of lifestyle changes.
So it's not just about managing symptoms. It's about potentially reversing the condition altogether.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here. We've debunked the myth that exercise has to be all or nothing, learned about managing the fear of hypos, and explored the amazing benefits beyond blood sugar control. But what about making exercise a sustainable part of our lives?
Yeah, that's the key, isn't it?
Right? How do you go beyond those New Year's resolutions and actually make it stick?
Well, both Diabetes UK and the CDC offer some really helpful advice for building lasting habits.
Good, let's hear it.
So first and foremost, they both emphasize the importance of setting specific and achievable goals.
Okay.
Don't try to overhaul your entire life overnight. Start small, like a 10-minute walk after dinner, and build from there.
So baby steps are the way to go.
Absolutely. Consistency is key.
And they also talk about finding activities you enjoy.
Oh, yeah. That's crucial. If you dread your workouts, you're not going to stick with them.
Right, it should be something you look forward to.
Exactly. Think outside the box. Maybe it's dancing, swimming, gardening, hiking, or even just playing with your kids or pets.
I love that, finding joy in movement.
And don't underestimate the power of social support.
Oh yeah, like having a workout buddy.
Exactly. Or joining a group fitness class, or even just telling your friends and family about your
And
goals.
that accountability can really help.
It can make a world of difference.
Okay, but what about those of us who work desk jobs or spend a lot of time sitting down?
Well, Diabetes UK specifically mentions the importance of breaking up prolonged sitting with standing or movement.
That's good advice.
Yeah, even small things like standing up to take phone calls, walking to a coworker's desk instead of emailing, or taking a few minutes to stretch every hour can have a positive impact.
So even if we can't dedicate a full 30 minutes to exercise, we can still incorporate movement throughout the day.
Exactly, it all adds up.
That's great advice, and it makes exercise feel a lot more accessible for everyone, regardless of their schedule or lifestyle.
That's the goal.
So we've covered a lot of ground here. We've learned about the benefits of exercise, how to manage the fear of hypos, and even how to make exercise a sustainable habit. But what happens when diabetes complications enter the picture? Does that mean exercise is off the table?
Not at all. Even with complications, exercise can still be possible and incredibly beneficial with some adjustments, of course.
So tell us more about that. What kind of adjustments are we talking about?
Well, Diabetes UK provides specific advice for adapting exercise based on different complications. For instance, if you have nerve disease or diabetic neuropathy, they recommend low-impact activities to minimize stress on your feet, like swimming or chair-based exercises.
That makes sense. Protecting those feet is crucial.
Absolutely. And if you have eye disease, it's important to avoid activities that drastically raise blood pressure, like heavy weightlifting or sprinting.
So maybe swapping those high-impact workouts for gentler options like swimming or cycling.
Exactly. And if kidney disease is a factor, it's important to avoid strenuous exercise, especially the day before urine protein tests, and to stay well hydrated.
Got it. And what about foot problems? Those seem like they'd require extra caution when it comes to exercise.
Definitely. Diabetes UK emphasizes the importance of proper footwear and regularly checking your feet for any sores or blisters. They also suggest that chair-based exercises might be a better option for some people with foot problems.
So the takeaway here is that even with complications, exercise is still possible and encouraged,
Absolutely.
but it's crucial to work closely with your healthcare providers to create a personalized plan that takes your specific needs and limitations into account.
Couldn't agree more. It's all about finding what works best for you, and don't be afraid to ask for guidance and support along the way. That's what healthcare professionals are there for. It's all about finding that right balance, you know?
Yeah, finding what works for you.
Exactly. And what works for you might be totally different from what works for someone else.
Absolutely. So we've talked about how exercise can be adapted for different complications. But what about for those of us who are just starting out or maybe haven't been very active lately? What are some practical tips for the CDC for incorporating more movement into our daily lives?
Well, the CDC recommends starting small and gradually increasing your activity level over time.
Okay, that makes sense.
So instead of trying to do too much too soon, which can be discouraging and lead to burnout, they suggest breaking down your exercise into shorter, more manageable chunks throughout the day.
Oh, that's a good idea. So like, instead of aiming for an hour-long workout, try doing 3 10-minute walks.
Exactly. And you can even break it down further, like 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there.
It all adds up, right?
Exactly. It all counts. And the CDC also highlights the importance of finding an activity buddy.
Someone to keep you motivated.
Exactly. Having that social support can make a huge difference in sticking with your exercise goals.
That's so true. I know when I've had a workout buddy in the past, it's definitely helped me stay on track.
Yeah, it's like having a built-in cheerleader.
And it's more fun, too.
Absolutely. And the CDC also encourages people to use technology to their advantage.
Oh, yeah. There are so many great fitness apps and trackers these days.
There are, and they can be really helpful for tracking your progress, setting goals, and staying motivated.
Some of them even gamify your workouts, which can be fun.
Yeah, it's all about finding what works for you and what keeps you engaged.
The CDC also mentions the importance of being mindful of our environment. What do they mean by that?
Well, they talk about making sure your surroundings are conducive to physical activity.
So, like, if you live in a neighborhood without sidewalks or safe places to walk,
Yeah.
that could make it more difficult to get regular exercise.
Exactly. Or if you work in an office where everyone sits at their desks all day, it can be hard to find opportunities to move around.
That's true. So it's not just about our individual motivation, but also about the environment we're in.
Exactly. It's about creating an environment that supports our fitness goals.
So, if possible, maybe you try to choose to live in a walkable community or make sure your home is set up in a way that encourages movement.
Right. And if you work in an office, see if you can get a standing desk or take walking breaks throughout the day.
It's all about being proactive and making those small changes that can add up over time.
Absolutely. The CDC also stresses the importance of making physical activity a family affair.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, involving your kid's partner or other family members in your workouts can make it more enjoyable and create lasting healthy habits.
It's like turning exercise into quality time.
Exactly. And it sets a good example for your kids too.
Absolutely. So we've explored the benefits of exercise, how to manage the fear of hypos, and even how to make exercise a sustainable habit. But we also touched on the fact that for people with type 2 diabetes, regular physical activity can lead to remission.
Yes, that's right.
Can you elaborate on that a bit more? What does the research say about this?
Sure, research is ongoing, but studies have shown that significant lifestyle changes, including regular physical activity and dietary modifications, can lead to remission of type 2 diabetes in some individuals.
Wow, that's incredible. What kind of exercise is typically involved in these studies?
It varies, but often it involves a combination of aerobic exercise like brisk walking, cycling, or swimming, and strength training.
So it's not just about cardio, but also about building muscle mass.
Exactly. Both are important for overall health and well-being, and the amount of exercise needed to achieve remission can vary from person to person.
Of course.
It's important to work with your healthcare providers to develop a personalized plan, but the research suggests that it's a real possibility for many people with type 2 diabetes.
That's incredibly encouraging news. It really underscores the power of lifestyle changes in managing this condition.
Mm.
But what about those who have had diabetes for a longer time? Is remission still possible?
While the research suggests that remission is more likely in those who have been diagnosed more recently, it's not impossible for those who have had diabetes for a longer period.
Okay, that's good to know.
It might require more significant lifestyle changes and close monitoring by healthcare professionals, but it's still a goal worth striving for.
Absolutely. It's never too late to take control of your health. But let's shift gears a bit and talk about something that comes up often when discussing exercise and diabetes, the fear of hypoglycemia or low blood sugar.
This is a valid concern for sure, and both Diabetes UK and the CDC offer valuable advice for managing it.
So how can someone approach exercise safely if they're worried about hypos?
Well, both sources emphasize the importance of monitoring your blood sugar closely, especially before, during, and after exercise.
Okay,
They recommend having fast-acting carbohydrates readily available, like glucose tablets or juice, in case your blood sugar drops too low.
that makes sense.
And starting slowly with your exercise routine is key, gradually increasing the intensity and duration over time.
So don't push yourself too hard too soon.
Exactly. Listen to your body, and if you start to feel any symptoms of low blood sugar, stop and treat it right away.
Good advice. And they also mentioned the benefits of continuous glucose monitors or CGMs.
Oh, yes. CGMs can be incredibly helpful for managing blood sugar levels during exercise.
We talked about those earlier, but it's worth reiterating how helpful they can be.
Absolutely. CGMs provide real-time information about your blood sugar levels, which can help you anticipate and prevent hypos during exercise.
So it's like having an early warning system.
Exactly. And it can give you peace of mind knowing that you're more in control of your blood sugar levels.
So with proper planning, monitoring, and precautions, exercise can be safe and enjoyable even for those who are concerned about hypos.
Absolutely. It's all about being informed, prepared, and proactive. And both Diabetes UK and the CDC provide excellent resources to support you on your journey.
So we've covered a lot of ground here. We've delved into the potential for remission, addressed the fear of hypos, and explored practical strategies for making exercise a sustainable part of our lives. But what about finding the motivation to get started? That initial push can be tough for many people.
It can be, but both of our sources offer some inspiring insights.
What are some of the key takeaways?
Well, Diabetes UK highlights the importance of focusing on the positive aspects of exercise. Instead of viewing it as a chore or a burden, try to focus on how it makes you feel. The boost in energy, the improved mood, The sense of accomplishment.
I like that it's about shifting our perspective.
Exactly. And they also encourage people to find activities that they genuinely enjoy, things that don't feel like a workout, but rather a fun way to move their bodies.
Yes, I love that, finding the joy in movement.
And they also suggest setting small, achievable goals instead of aiming for an hour-long gym session right away. Start with a 10-minute walk or a few stretches, celebrate those small victories, and gradually build from there.
It's about progress, not perfection.
Absolutely. And the CDC echoes this sentiment, emphasizing the importance of celebrating small successes and focusing on the long-term benefits of physical activity. They remind us that every bit of movement counts, and that even small changes can have a significant impact on our health.
So it's not about being a marathon runner or a gym rat, but about finding ways to incorporate movement into our everyday lives in a way that feels sustainable and enjoyable.
Exactly. It's about making movement a part of who we are, not just something we do.
I love that. And what about finding the time that's a common obstacle for many people?
Both sources acknowledge this challenge and offer practical tips.
I like what?
They suggest scheduling exercise into your day, just like you would any other important appointment. They also recommend finding ways to incorporate movement into your daily routine, like taking the stairs instead of the elevator walking, or biking to work, or even just getting up and moving around every hour if you have a desk job.
So it's about being creative and finding opportunities to move throughout the day, even if it's just for a few minutes at a time.
Exactly. It all adds up. And they also suggest finding an activity buddy, someone who can motivate you and help you stay accountable.
Oh, yeah, we talked about that earlier. Having that social support can make a big difference. What about those who are worried about the financial costs associated with exercise gym memberships and fitness classes? Can be expensive.
Both sources acknowledge this barrier and offer alternatives.
Okay.
They suggest exploring free or low-cost options like walking, jogging, hiking, biking, or exercising at home using online videos or fitness apps. Many communities also offer free or low-cost exercise classes or programs.
So there are options available for every budget.
Exactly. It's about being resourceful and finding what works for you. And they also encourage people to check with their health insurance providers, as some plans may offer discounts on gym memberships or fitness programs.
Well, that's a good tip.
And they also remind us that physical activity doesn't have to be expensive to be effective. Some of the simplest activities, like walking, dancing, or playing with your kids or pets, are also some of the most beneficial.
It's about moving your body in ways that you enjoy and that fit into your lifestyle.
Exactly. And both sources emphasize the importance of consulting with your healthcare providers before starting any new exercise program, especially if you have any underlying health condition.
That's crucial. Getting personalized guidance and support from your healthcare team can make all the difference in ensuring that you're exercising safely and effectively.
Absolutely. It's about working together to create a plan that meets your individual needs and goals.
So we've explored a wide range of topics today, from the benefits of exercise and how to manage the fear of hypos, to practical strategies for making exercise a sustainable habit and overcoming common barriers. But what's the one key message that you hope our listeners take away from this deep dive?
I think the most important message is that physical activity is an essential part of managing diabetes, and it doesn't have to be complicated or overwhelming. Even small amounts of movement can make a significant difference in your health and well-being.
It's about finding ways to move your body that you enjoy and that fit into your lifestyle.
Exactly, and it's never too late to start.
So what's one small step our listeners can take today to incorporate more movement into their lives?
Think about one small change you can make to your daily routine. Maybe it's taking the stairs instead of the elevator, parking further away from your destination, or simply getting up and moving around every hour if you have a desk job.
Those are all great ideas. And remember, it's not about being perfect, but about making progress.
To exactly celebrate those small victories and gradually build from there.
And don't be afraid to seek support from your healthcare providers, family, and friends.
Absolutely. Surround yourself with people who encourage and motivate you.
So much good information in those resources.
Definitely worth checking out.
Yeah, for sure. And we've got the links to both the Diabetes UK and CDC pages in our show notes.
Perfect.
Yeah, so make sure to check those out if you want to learn more. But I think we've covered a lot of ground today.
We have. We've talked about the benefits of exercise, how to manage the fear of hypos, and even how to make exercise a sustainable habit.
And all with the focus on how movement, even in small doses, can really make a big difference when it comes to managing diabetes.
Exactly. It's not about being a marathon runner or spending hours at the gym every day. It's about finding ways to move your body that you enjoy and that fit into your lifestyle.
Yeah, and I think that's a really important message because sometimes it can feel overwhelming. You know, like you have to make these huge changes all at once.
Right. It's easy to get caught up in that all or nothing mindset.
But that's not what this is about at all. It's about finding small, sustainable ways to incorporate more movement into your life.
And celebrating those small victories along the way.
Exactly. Every step counts. Every bit of movement makes a difference.
And it's never too late to start.
So true. Whether you're just starting out or you've been living with diabetes for a while, there's always something you can do to be more active.
And remember, exercise is not just about managing your diabetes. It's about improving your overall health and well-being.
Yeah, it's about feeling better, having more energy, sleeping better, reducing your risk of other health problems.
It's about living your best life.
Absolutely. So if you're looking for a way to improve your health and well-being, start moving today, even if it's just for a few minutes.
Take a walk, dance around your living room, do some stretches, anything that gets you moving.
And remember, every step you take, every move you make, brings you closer to a healthier, happier you.
That's a great way to put it.
So until next time, keep those minds curious and those bodies moving.